Happy? No white collar underneath. We straight? I'm good.
Yeah, you good. Let's start the show.
How y'all doing? Trevis. I'm here with obviously the CEO and co-founder of Riche Threads, trying to make sure that, I'm looking good for the camera. Today we're just gonna get into his rise in fame in the industry of fashion. Talk about some stuff in streetwear and how he's feeling right now and what's going on in the industry. So,
I'm here to talk a lot of so let's do it. Let's get to it.
Clearly he's ready. He's ready to go and talk a lot of shit.
I'm ready.
So, what's up, brother?
What's going on, man?
How you been?
How you been?
It's been a long time. Well, not really, but
Been a while.
Been a while, right?
Yeah.
What's going on? What's new?
Nothing, man. I just felt I had a lot to get off my chest, so I figured, why not sit down and actually talk about it? Like fashion been a little weird.
Yeah.
I know y'all been seeing me post a lot of Instagram, so it might seem as though he might be hating a little bit, but
yeah, I mean, I do see when the posts go up. I don't look at it as hate. I do see that you have a strong opinion on what's been going on and how things been moving. And obviously, from what I've known and seen in fashion, even though like I'm not the most forward-facing fashion person, which is like when you reached out to me and said you wanted to do this, I'm like, okay, I guess for other reasons why you asked me, but fashion has always, from my eye view, has always been a place where a lot of people go and express themselves, and I guess that's the opportunity for them to get out there, how they're feeling, how they want people to look at them and stuff like that. But from looking through fashion through your eyes, and since I've known you for the last 10, 11 years, I could see why your perspective of things getting weird. A lot of lanes is being blended together and things are not necessarily making sense, right? So I guess when I see your post sometimes, I guess that's probably where you're coming from with, things not, working out so well.
it's not really about working out so well. It's more or less that like being weird is deemed fashionable today.
Okay.
So it's like just because you wear some of the wildest stuff that you can find,
right,
doesn't make you fly.
That is true.
Or if you spend all the money on a mannequin fit and say, yo, I got Dior, and then you walk outside it's like, oh, I'm him. Like, all right, let's take it back, right? So like fashion has always been like an expression of hip hop, the times, the culture. Now today's mindset, like being from New York, right?
Yeah.
We don't have a staple. There is no New York fashion.
Right.
And that's all based on the internet. Like there is no regional fashion for any area. We knew what people from down south dressed like. We knew what LA people dressed like.
Right.
New York had its own fashion, whether it be aviated, what was it? Avrex, Tim's.
Right.
At one point, Nike boots. But now it's just like we look like the dudes from Atlanta.
Right.
And the dudes from Atlanta look like dudes from LA.
Right.
And then everybody in between look like each other.
Well, I kind of know why things are going that way, right? Obviously, because the world is way more open now because of the internet, right? People are seeing different things. You're able to see exactly what somebody's doing in places like California, Atlanta, whatever like that, based off of following people on Instagram and stuff like that. So I can see why those worlds are blending. And it's so funny you said how hip hop and fashion obviously going together with this year being the 50-year hip hop. Right, hip hop is 50 years old, so it's funny that we're doing this interview, and obviously, you being the age that you are and growing up through different eras, especially in the 90s.
Talk about my age, bro.
I mean, you're still young, but I mean,
thank you. I appreciate it.
You seasoned.
I appreciate
it. You've seen some things.
A little sazon.
Yeah, you seasoned. It's fine. It's cool. It's nothing wrong. Listen, like I always say, people should never worry about their age or getting older because. Unless you're a drug dealer or mom and pops left you some family money, I don't know young people that's really getting it. Okay. You know what I mean? I always look at it when I run into people a little older, they're the ones who really got the money and got the experience. So I've never looked at old ages as something that you shouldn't be proud of.
Copy.
You know what I mean? So that's how I look at it. That's how I view it. But back to what we were talking about. I can see why you feel that way about fashion. I can see why the worlds are being blended. Like, you know, the internet has done a lot of great things for people, but it's also, because there's no rules on the internet and how things are, a lot of worlds are being blended, right? It's, if you want to take a parody from like Spider-Man in the multiverse or whatever like that, things are just kind of like blending all over the place. So nobody's having an identity, right? It's like you can pull up back in the, like you said, in the 90s, 2000s. If you were from New York, you can go to another area, and by the way that you dressed and looked and moved, people are like, oh, he's from New York.
He's from New York.
He's from New York.
But that was a flex though. Like,
and that was a flex, yes. That was a flex. Specifically, like, yo, they'll ask, are you from Brooklyn? That would be the first question or whatever like that. You from Harlem or whatever like that. You know, you Queens or whatever, depending on how your fit is. But yeah, to your point, and especially how the younger generation is moving now, there is no kind of like New York kind of flag where it's like, yo, this is how we dress in New York. This is how we move. Everything is being blended. And like you said, it is getting crazy with like, you know, with wearing the weirdest thing is the coolest thing. And then I always had a question. I always had this question, especially like I used to ask it like when I used to go to FIT, when I used to go to college, I used to ask like the fashion designers. I say, yo, when y'all put together, y'all go on the show, when y'all put together those mannequins, y'all put together those fits, is that meant for somebody to actually go and buy and put on that fit? Do you do it? And they say, you know, sometimes the mannequin fit is just for the stylistic look of what they're trying to put together for like a showcase, right? For you to come into the store to see. It wasn't necessarily like if I was a stylist, I would put somebody specifically in that. Now, with certain pieces, staple pieces that you would, you know, like for example, like the velour suit is a very good example of like, yo, when you buy a velour suit, that's something that's supposed to go together. You buy a track suit, something supposed to get. Those are things that in fashion we knew that you had, that the Adidas track suit goes together. But to your point, you know, when you get into high fashion, nobody want to see somebody walking around in a full-on Gucci printed suit from head to toe, the Dior head to toe, and it looked like you just not willing to put things together. Instead of buying the one piece and say, you know what, let me style a jacket with something else. Let me style the pants with something else. Let me style the shoes with a whole nother fit that has nothing to do with the Dior brand. So I can understand like where you're coming from with that, you know, so.
See, but the thing is, right, the way high-end fashion is really cultured and cultivated, it's not really geared towards urban.
Right.
So it's designed more for a high-end look. The fashion, like
even though they steal everything from urban.
Understood, but the actual way it's presented on the runway, whether it be Paris, whether it be New York, whether it be Mulan, wherever the show is at itself, the way you see it on the runway isn't presented by us, the culture.
Right.
Right? But the marketing dollars is never spent on black people.
Correct.
Right? So my issue is we keep giving them dollars that isn't advertised towards us.
That's true.
They don't care about we're just an additive to the green. They didn't create anything that like for us where we make it look good. So the problem that I've been having is where scamming and shit came involved, where now you really have funds available to clothing that you really can't afford on a random.
Right.
And that's where street fashion is so creative, because you can be creative with a medium budget.
Yeah.
Not saying a low budget, but a medium budget. You know, drug dealers going to step it up a little bit or whatever, or back in the day, dope boys or whatever. But in today's society, the creativity isn't built on what you could put together. It's just spending the most.
Yeah.
The most I could get. So that's why I took a step back at some point. And I told myself, you know what? I'm going to let the market reset itself. Because a lot of the stuff that's been being designed by people, they're chasing what they would call fast fashion.
Right.
So basically, like something that when it hits H&M, when it hits an Urban Outfitters, like it's coming fast and you know it's a hit already, but you're not wearing it because it's creative. And that's my problem with where fashion has been, because it's always cultivated between the culture, the music, and believe it or not, the streets.
No, I totally see that, and I agree with you, because I even saw that example, which like really pissed me off maybe like a year or two ago. So Coach had a brand deal with Michael B. Jordan, and he's a big anime fan. I'm a big anime fan. I follow a bunch of things, anime or whatever like that. And you know, anime apparel is big, right? You know, things in that world, if people tap into that world, is really big. Like people literally, like, you know, the staple pieces in anime shows sometimes make it into the fashion world. And when Coach did the collaboration with him, I was excited, right? I was thinking like, oh, like, you know, that's good because Coach obviously is a good brand when it comes to like, you know, clothes and stuff like that. They stepped up a lot with the new designs and stuff that they had. But then when I saw the price point for what it was happening, it just threw me off because I'm like, that would never happen. Like you were saying, where high fashion and culture don't necessarily agree. The cultural part of it, there's no anime, there's no real anime fan that follows these shows that love these characters are paying $800 for a denim jacket that has Naruto on the back of it. When they know for the fact that they can actually go and get the same denim jacket in the same style and design it themselves, right? So it's like when that happens, that's telling you that the high fashion, the people that's in those boardrooms, they're not getting the fact that exactly what the customer wants. You should have did the collab with Michael B. Jordan, but y'all should have never had the price point that high, right? It's just too much for the actual people who are willing to go buy that, right? And even if you have, let's say for example, people who have the money to buy that, when you do a survey on those people actually being anime fans, they might have just been buying it because of Michael B. Jordan collection, right? So you know, I definitely see exactly your point where it comes to like high fashion not necessarily mixing with the culture in the right way, and obviously not being catered to the people that would be the demographic for that specific space.
But literally, this has been my quote unquote war on fashion right now.
Right.
It's like it's getting to a place where if it's not expensive, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But the thing is that the market is kind of reallocating itself. Remember, sneakers were crazy back in the day.
Yes.
Now shit is sitting because people want to wear what they want to wear and they want to wear their sneakers. It isn't about getting 50 of the same sneakers and selling for $1 million. Niggas is wearing these sneakers. They selling shit with pre-aged soles and all of this now. For all of that, wear what you got in the closet. And that's been my problem for a long time. It's like when we grew up on being fly, coming outside, being clean.
Right.
Being clean, cut down to the toe, from head to toe, whether it be a lineup down to your socks.
Correct.
But it's somewhere is missing now. So it's like you'll wear something weird just for the Instagram moment or the TikTok moment. And this is what I'm saying. Actually, like fashion has been taken over and moved aside for moments.
You know what's so funny? I saw something on social media where I don't know if it could have been a parody video or whatever like that, but it was funny. Like somebody had walked past on the street and like somebody had like a cup in their hand. I think they was like drinking like coffee or something like that. And a person walked past and put change in it, right? And the person like, what the hell are you doing? And the person was like, oh, I thought you were the homeless person asking for money. And they're like, why would you think that? They was like, well, look how you're dressed.
Yeah.
And the hobo look was, you know, was in for it's still kind of in. It was in for a while where it's like, yo, you have people who are like dressing like you're homeless, you know, walking outside with a bunch of different kind of like, you know, colors and certain holes in their look, and it's like it's confusing. Like somebody, if you it just that impression that somebody they had a cup in that very moment when that person was passing by. Now the person probably missed when they were drinking it or whatever like that, but at that very moment they saw and they just kind of like went to put the change in. But it was a funny moment because it's like, yo, like why are you dressing like that? Like what was your purpose of you coming out the house looking like that?
I just think that, you know, like I can't take nothing serious with the internet. That's first and foremost.
Yeah.
That could have been skit, stage, set up, whatever the case is. But my thing is like I can't tell you how to dress.
Yeah.
What's for you might not be for me. But if you're gonna do what you do it to the best of your ability. And that's my problem with people.
Yes.
Like I'm not a polo shirt, I'm not a button-up type of guy. But when I go outside, I'm gonna look clean. Not saying that it's not a clean look because you might do it better than me.
Right.
But people don't do things for aesthetics no more. They don't do anything for what fits their body shape anymore.
Correct.
So the problem is people walk outside and they might see something on IG. They might see something on Fashion Nova, which is an example of fast fashion.
Right.
And they'll throw it on. Right? But the problem is if like clothing is made in a generic style.
Right.
38, 32, 32, 30. It's not made for your specific height.
Yeah.
But taking it to the next level, it's taking it to go get tailored. You might have a nice ass and small boobs, but the dress is made for big boobs, big ass.
Women.
Let's say for women. You gotta make sure.
I want to be politically correct. I'm just
crazy.
I just want to make sure.
Yeah, no pause.
Yeah, and this will be politically correct that he's talking about a woman.
Yes, of course. But what I'm saying is, it's taking it to the next step. is actual fashion.
Right.
Because now you're getting it presented for your shape.
Correct.
Your look. What you're trying to present to the world. And fashion itself, clothing, is an introductory without words.
Right.
Because you could literally come to somebody and not speak to them, not know them, but and look at them like, oh, damn, that person's fly.
Right. It's also a conversation piece.
Exactly. But that's what we're missing.
Right.
Because we're not being ourselves. The problem is everybody's chasing a look and not being themselves. So my thing is, when I shop, I'm not saying I got the brand and everything, but I still buy pieces.
Right.
We shop in pieces, statement pieces I could pull out 2-3 years later, and it still hit the same. But the difference is when you buy something for what's going on right now, and you know it's not it, but you want to fit in what's going on right now, you'll never wear that shit again.
You know what's so funny, and I don't know if it comes with like experience, age. It might comes with a little bit of both or whatever. Like I personally, which I am not like the most fashionable person, right? You know, I'm in a space of comfortability. If I'm comfortable in it, I'll wear it. Now, there's certain things I have certain rules with how I get myself together. Like what's on my feet always has to be something crisp, right? I like sneakers. I won't call myself a sneakerhead, but I grew up, obviously playing basketball and stuff like that. I need to have a pair of sneakers that I know that I could go outside with, to rock, to go to a party, brunch or whatever like that, and then I got my ball kicks or whatever like that, right? But my thing is, as I got older, I'm more concerned with, just like you said, something I'm looking clean, I'm looking neat, and I'm comfortable, right? So I remember like maybe it was like 4 or 5 years ago, I don't know what it was, like I had to go find something to wear, and I couldn't find. I have a problem when I go out to shop. It's like I can never find something in my size, because like I get in there, I'm like, yo, I need this size, and it's like the shirt's not fit me right. It's either too high up or whatever, or the sleeves is not right or whatever like that.
How does fit in? That's good.
No, I'm good. I'm comfortable.
Right.
I'm comfortable.
That's
exactly.
That's rich.
I'm comfortable in here.
Okay.
I never have complaints when I come over here.
Okay.
It's all good.
All right.
It's all good.
Continue.
You know what I mean? So I was like, yo, you know what? I haven't been in Old Navy in a very long time. Just kind of like, sometimes go in Old Navy, catch a little shirt or something like that. You know what I mean? Because they threw up like the little cartoon shirts or whatever. So I went in there or whatever, and then I was looking around. I'm like, yo, it's different in here, right? Clean or whatever like that, doing so. And I asked the lady, I was like, yo, what's going on? I'm like, I see like a lot of the clothes pieces. She's like, yeah, it's a new designer director who took over Old Navy and they doing their thing or whatever. So I went, tried some jeans on. Found out they had like these nice flex, straight cut jeans that still give me my loose feel, but it's not too baggy, right? All right, cool. I'm able to get that at an affordable price, right?
And you 6'3"?
6'4". Right, don't shoot. I'm 6'4".
My bad.
Don't,
I'm 5'11", so
yeah,
my bad.
Don't do that.
Apologize.
6'4", yeah, everything counts.
I might be 5'10", but that's all right.
But what I realized is when I was 25, and I had less money. This is the key thing. I had less money at 25 than now, right? I was making less money at 25. I was still in college, making less money at 25. And I remember I went into the Balenciaga store and, you know what I mean? And
big flex.
Swiping my credit card and doing what I got to do.
Yeah.
I had the money to pay my credit card and do what I have to do. But it's like I went and bought a $300 T-shirt. Like how you have this here, this one big print, Balenciaga on it. And I got recorded, and my friends like, yo, you paid $300 for that? I'm like, yeah, because at the time, I'm in a fashion school, for whatever reason in my mind for me going to go do that, I went, bought 2 pair of Balenciagas, bought a pair of jeans and a shirt, $300, and I just did it, right? And I'm like, I have way more money now, and it would not even cross my mind to do that now. I wouldn't even blink at saying like, yo, I can easily go ham if I wanted to, and I won't do it. And it's like, maybe it's a mind switch when it happens. Maybe it's just me, getting away. Like once I did something once, I'm good off of doing it again, right? But I do realize as you get older, your priorities and preference and stuff starts changing.
It is about adulting though. At some point in time, that's why I say pieces.
Yeah.
I don't do high end, but I do high end pieces. I grab some footwear. I grab maybe a little accessory, some glasses, something like that. But for the most part, give me some Uniqlo, give me some Urban.
Yeah, I like Uniqlo. I like what they're doing over there.
And I'm cool. Like, I just need a comfortable tee. I don't really like jackets like that because we drive cars and whatever. But like,
I love jackets.
No, I mean like big jackets.
Like
I
you
wear
talking
like
about
a
when the, like, when the
I wear
winter-
like a varsity with a hoodie. I keep it base. I don't like big oversized like winter.
But now,
fits.
when that trench coat season come
Nah,
holler at your boy.
Nah, I
Come
don't.
holler. I love that. I love
don't.
getting in my trench coats, man. I
I
love
guess
it.
because I'm not a winter guy.
I'm
so
not either. I hate the, but that's the only part of the winter I actually love, and the fall I love. I get to throw in my trench coats.
I do got a lot of friends that like enjoy the winter just because like winter does allow you to show what your closet looks like.
Oh, and the hoodie season.
Like
Gotta
you
love
know
the
what I'm
hoodie
saying?
season.
Like I'm more of like a hoodie and shorts type of guy.
Yeah.
Give me September, October, February, like that time frame where you get into the spring. But the winter, kicking my ass. Summer, I hate it.
Too hot?
Yeah, it's too crazy. Like I gotta switch mash teas and take mash showers. You a guy, don't you know you don't like taking mash showers, bro?
I like taking my shower. You bugging.
Nah, I don't.
All right. Can you tell us about your journey as a fashion designer in the streetwear industry? How did you get started, and what motivated you to pursue this career path?
I would say it was non-traditional, cause I didn't go to school for it, or I didn't study fashion. I was just a kid in the streets enjoying fashion.
Right.
And then like you could say sneakerhead, but I just enjoy sneakers. So I figured like I got enough sneakers, but not enough clothes.
Right.
Could I make clothes to associate with the shit that I buy on a monthly basis, weekly basis, whatever? Because I had more sneakers than I probably had clothes to like associate and help me look good in it. And then when you do like fashion, it does cost without a job.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? I was in college, and I enjoy being fly. So I'm like, you know what? Let me jump into the field. So I just jumped right in, head first. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I just knew I knew colors, I knew my size, and I'm gonna put something together.
So before you started getting into the kind of like technical part of it, you were just more so
Freelancing
like a stylist. Like you just go pick up pieces that you like and put it together.
No. I was using like Microsoft Excel or whatever it was.
Oh,
you
went right.
I went ham, like just thinking I could just do this.
Right.
I just did it. I didn't learn nothing. I didn't take no courses. I had a image and a vision and some words, a couple fonts that I had. I was like, I'm gonna use this. Boom, press it. I had a little bit of pocket change, and I just went with it. I did like 24 shirts. Initially, I could say, I was proud of this, right? But now I look back, like, this is terrible.
I mean, it's good to be honest with yourself, though.
Yo, the quality wasn't there.
Right.
There wasn't tags, but they matched.
Right.
So we went with that. Like, shout out to all the supporters that helped me in my vision in the beginning.
That was what, 2009, 10?
2010, we dropped the first joint. I probably really didn't know what I was doing.
I think I just met you too when that happened.
Appreciate you, man. He's still around.
I think 2010 when I met you. Yeah.
I gotta get rid of these type of people, man. That's crazy. But like literally, like I really didn't know what I was doing till maybe like 3-4 years down the line.
Right.
Where like I got sat down. Let me shout out my homegirl, Rain. She did a lot of work in the industry.
Rain?
Yeah, Rain.
Shout out to Rain.
She sat me down and she was like, you gotta know what Pantones is. You gotta know the tags gotta look a certain way. You gotta know the weight of the garment. So I'm sitting here with my notebook and my pad like I'm going to college. So I'm not, I just had a kid, all of that. So I'm trying to figure it out while having this ambition, like, And the thing for me, fashion has always been like an outlet, like a creative outlet for me. So like when I got a lot going on, I can say I can sit on my computer and I can just design. So when she told me certain things, I had to study on top of it. I had to learn materials, what was blends and what was a Pantone color. I'm like, Pantone, what is this?
Yeah.
So it's like I had to learn all of this on the fly, and then I got an opportunity, and I landed on 106 in Park.
What?
And it was like, this
in the beginning.
In the beginning, the South Beach teddy bear shirt, it landed on Terrence J on 106 in Park.
All right, so hold on. So I want to get into that story.
Go ahead.
But you said something. I want to bring in another question that's not on that I have here. So you said that obviously you jumped in and you were learning on the fly, right? The question that I had was, when you were doing that, right? What did it? So I know you used to play ball before. You used to play basketball, right? And you said that, you know, fashion at that very moment, it was like an outlet, right? It was a kind of situation you were expressing yourself. When you stopped playing what year you stopped playing basketball?
I had my kid, 07.
Do you feel that that void of you not playing basketball no more was missing, and then
I needed a fulfillment.
And you needed something to fulfill it?
Yeah, I needed a fulfillment of like creativity, because basketball, you was kind of creative on the court. You could travel, you go to different tournaments, but now I had to full-fledged be a pops. Like, and you went from hooping to changing diapers. It's crazy. Yeah, it's a different experience, but it's like, you know, that kind of calmed me down to like see like things like in a different, like in a slower vision. Yeah, I
literally just thought when you said it, I was like, I know he used to hoop, but I'm like, I'm wondering like the time period of like when he stopped hooping to when he started the brand.
So my daughter was maybe 3, 2.5 at that time. Yeah, she was born in 07. I started in 2010, so she was about 3.
And that's Kamaya.
Yeah, so it's like everybody wants to dad around. Yeah. But the thing is, it's like you change yourself as a person to be a parent. Yeah. But you don't want to lose yourself in totality, but you know everything is not going to be the same. So this became an outlet for me. Rather than going, I'm going to go you change the diapers, I'm going to play ball. I could pull out my laptop and learn something.
I just want, that's a gem. Just in case you didn't understand what a gem looked like when it happens. Yeah, it's a gem. Like, responsibilities came up.
And I was 21.
He accepted responsibilities, but he didn't lose himself in the responsibilities and gave himself another outlet to keep his creative mind going, even though he wasn't with his first love, basketball. It's a gem right there. So just in case whoever's looking didn't notice what a gem looked like. It's a little gem there.
Un poquito.
Yeah. But that makes sense. Okay, so the story about 106 and Park and how
don't touch me, man.
And how the shirt got on Terrace J. Was that something where it just happened? Who was working behind the scenes? How did it get connected? So we can just get everything on wax and figure it out.
No, I got a homeboy, Jevy. Shout out to Jevy. He worked in the CBS building that they did the visuals for 106 and Park.
Got it.
And he was just like, yo, just throw me some stuff. I'm going to see if I can get it to my peoples in wardrobe. Yeah. I can't do nothing after that. Yeah. But I can get it in wardrobe. So apparently it got to wardrobe. He seen the vision. He seen the colors. And he had the sneakers.
Yeah, he had the sneakers.
He was like, yo, I'm going to pick this. So I got the tape in like, yo. Matter of fact, I was at work. I'm digging holes at this point in time, doing construction. And my phone is going crazy. Bing, 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 bing. I'm like, what the hell is going on? Like, yo, your shirt is on TV. This is when everybody used to run home and go watch videos. Yeah, yeah. And my shirt is on 106 in Park. I told the dude, like, yo, I gotta go. I gotta go.
My son.
Yeah. I got about the whole, put the shovel down, change my, yo, I'm out of here. I gotta see what's going on. Ran home, checked the joint out. Phone was going crazy. Congratulations. And from that point in time, I was like, you know what? I gotta keep going. Yeah. So from that point in time, I done seen my stuff on VH1. Puma had it on Black Ink Crew. Yeah. We went from that. Young M.A., she was out in LA on LA Leakers. She went on the Rob Dyrdek show. Yeah. We had Chinks Drugs, rest in peace. We had Cameron, one of my biggest influences in hip hop history, Water. So it's like we had a lot of like, you know what I'm saying, representation in the actual culture that wore Riche Threads. So now it's just like, am I doing it for the look or am I doing it for the culture? Right. Because I don't want to get lost in the hype. Because people do just make things because they've been in certain slots. but then they fade away.
Right.
Because they haven't been true to themselves.
Right. They were just trying to do it to get on or whatever like that. Or try to make a name for themselves.
But now they get a hit and it doesn't feel the same.
Right.
So I took a step back during the height and everything. And I was just like, I'm not being true to myself. But in hindsight, it's like, just keep going. So I told myself this caption I was doing was going to be the last. But it was more like a reset type of thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So we went, 2010 we started, didn't know what we was doing for 5 years.
Yeah.
So let's say 2015. Like, you know what I'm saying? Was the real actual startup of the brand. And now in 2000, we'll be in 23.
Yeah, 23.
We're trying to refocus.
No, I give you, I've seen it.
Hold on, not to cut you, but times have changed so much between that time frame of when we actually what we was doing to what fashion looks like today. It's a whole different look. It's a whole different feel.
And also your experience is different, and your knowledge is different of what you actually bring to the game. Like I commend you, because the thing about it is when you do something like this and you don't know the actual amount of work that has to go into it, and you throw yourself out there, not caring what people are going to think, not looking for handouts, not looking for support, not looking for any type of support, but you're just kind of doing it for the love. Like, yo, this is what I want to do. Whoever wants to support is going to support it, but regardless of the fact if they support it or not, I'm doing this. I'm focused on the process. You know what I mean? Then the good things happen. You know what I mean? The great things happen. And I always commended you for that, because it was like never a time where you wanted to step away from it in a sense. Maybe you slowed down a little bit, with kind of working on your own stuff, and kind of like you started doing more director stuff, as in like, you help somebody else out with their brand and do something like that. But I remember having a conversation with you, and I'm like, yo, what's going on with the actual brand? What are you trying? What's the next step for you?
The vision.
What's the vision? And I told you, I was like, yo, listen, like, you gotta make sure that when you have to have like a North Star for this, right? You have to have a North Star for what you started. So if your North Star is like, yo, I'm trying to get as big as Ralph Lauren, let that be your North Star. Depending on where you fall during that journey is where you fall, but then you should always have a North Star for that. I remember you had a conversation with me about like, helping other people out and people starting to be, do grimy stuff or whatever like that. And it's kind of like taking your knowledge and what you've done for yourself, building yourself up in this space for a while and taking you for granted. And they kind of put like the energy back into like, yo, let me stop playing with these people who think that I can't do, you know what I mean? Like certain things.
Let me give you a synopsis of something that took place recently. So you did mention Hip Hop is 50, right?
Right.
I actually did the Hip Hop is 50 fashion show.
Okay.
Recently out in middle of Times Square, right? So the thing was, even with that setup,
right,
it was an amazing setup. Shout out to my homegirl Tina, she put me on. Appreciate you for that. But it's like, I only did it because she referred me.
Right.
I wasn't interested in doing it. But, when people refer you, don't want to make them look bad.
Of course.
Especially in business circles. So I was like, you know what? I got more than enough pieces. I got you. So I took part in that. And I realized it's like the culture doesn't help itself. Fashion itself is really like a grimy sport. Like, the creatives don't respect the educated.
Right.
The educated don't respect the creative.
Right.
But they both work hand in hand. It would be an amazing scene for everybody. So the thing was, we had the bill with Dapper Dan, Carl Kanai was there, Fat Farm I believe was there. But the thing was like, they was the OGs that should have reached down.
Correct.
And been like, listen, y'all the young version of what we cultivated. Let me show y'all something. You know what I'm saying? But that bridge wasn't there. And I felt as though, I said, you know what? Forget me. I took myself out of the equation. I asked the people who actually made the show, if y'all looking for people on the board, put me onto the board. Because the culture needs a new voice, a new direction, a new vision.
Right.
Coke and I could reach out to young designers to get that feel of what modern fashion feels like. Nobody's leaving their house, no disrespect, because they the fashion fathers are in some way, but nobody's leaving their house be like, yo, I'm gonna go buy me a coconut suit.
But I'm gonna tell you why. I'm gonna tell you why that happens. And this has nothing to do with fashion. This is just in general how in business and how life works. There's a philosophy I have that at this point in society, there is nothing there's nothing hard to obtain or nothing hard to do. Somebody might say that's crazy, right? And I say no, it's not. If you say today or tomorrow that you want to be an engineer, I say I want to be an engineer. There's school, there's process, there's books, there's teaching, there's videos for you to go through the steps. For you to get that engineering job, the problem is not going to be that you're not qualified for that job. The problem is going to be the gatekeepers that's there, which is another human being who puts on their underwear, drinks water the same way like you go to the bathroom like you. It's going to stop you from doing that because their coffee was cold that morning.
Hold on, don't go too far. Don't go too far. Right? I know where you're going with that, right? But the only difference in that, what you're saying, is not done in the same in streetwear fashion.
Correct.
Right? Because now high-end fashion now has reached out to Virgil, Kanye, A$AP Rocky. They've reached out to.
I have a theory on that.
But no, listen. But they've reached out to A$AP Rocky. Now they have Pharrell in the seat placeholder as a creative director for Louis Vuitton. Right. But hold on, let me finish. Right. The problem is, once again, I said the marketing dollars wasn't created for our lane. So they bring a head figure to create the lane. But the problem is, urban fashion designers never put on the younger person to bring in the new urban dollar. But the culture started your brand. And that's the issue. The culture didn't start Louis Vuitton. Louis Vuitton was in, what you call it? What's the shit with Eddie Murphy and them? Coming to America. The luggage just was on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Hard boxes. They didn't need us at all. But the thing is, they keep continuously bringing us along because we're bringing more to the vision.
The only thing I would push back on that is, I push back on the comment that they're not needing us because one, this is how it is, right? There's only a certain percent of people in the world that have a lot of money, right? Like if those people were the only ones buying your stuff over and over, then at the end of the day, you're not really gonna make it because most of the time, those people who actually have money to buy your luxury brand are the cheapest ones, right? They want the discount, they want X, Y, and Z. Where these companies make their money comes to the bottom line, right? The bottom line of people who can't really afford it and necessarily are going to buy it. The problem is the way that you tap into that culture is exactly what you said. I'm not buying this if Pharrell's not part of it. I'm not buying it if A$AP Rocky. I'm not buying it if Virgil's not buying it. So when they actually reached out to that person, it's a difference in you reaching out to Virgil. Like Virgil, day one of you. Louis Vuitton is not reaching out to. Virgil, day one of him having Off-White.
Yeah.
Oh, you know what? We can actually utilize what he built up
because he's cultivating the culture in the hip hop space.
So, but what you're saying is this: it would be more respectable if, at the end of the day, you were just reaching out to Virgil because, yo, damn, he's just a great designer.
No,
and but it's not happening.
No, it's the other way around. It would be more respected if the top hip hop urban designer reached out to the next. Yeah.
Look,
I'm gonna say this on camera. I don't care about high end. I don't care about high end designs. Most of the shit I can't even fit.
Right.
So I don't care about it. I think I was 260 something. I don't care about it at some point in time.
Right.
Right. But the thing is like the things that we make look good is not in line with just their clothing.
Correct.
But why is it when we get on top, we don't reach down? Because the next best designer is always us.
But that's an egotistical thing. The reason why they don't do it.
But that's what I'm saying.
And the ego is there because at the end of the day, you have a lot of insecure people in those positions that don't know. Let me tell you something. Anything that I do in life, right? I personally think that my legacy on anything that I'm doing in life, or I'm building in life, is not stamped unless I'm able to repeat it with somebody else. That's how I look at stuff. If I set out, let's say for something small, if I set out and I got a job for $200,000, right? And I put myself in a position, I'm making $200,000, do X, Y, Z, I'm a senior director, something, whatever like that, I'm doing X, Y, and Z. And I'm in this Fortune 500, Fortune 100 company. In my mind, by the time I leave that job or that position, I'm moving on, I should have already now put on another mentee or somebody to be in path to get something like that. So when I leave and now I'm on to the 400 or 500 or maybe $600,000 job, I've left somebody else in place that I, like you said, reach back down to help out to come in that side. It might not be directly that side, but to put them on a path or something like that. I believe most of the people that have an opportunity to do these things, whatever, the reason why they don't do it is, number one, it's egotistical.
Yeah.
They want to be in those spaces all the time. And my thing is, the one thing I'll give, and it's a very, very small example, so people, please do not go crazy. There's one thing that Jay-Z, Lil Wayne, and Drake does, right? They come out, they have their own way of rapping, do X, Y, and Z. And then they will, and 50 does it as well too. They have their ear to the street, and they're like, well, what's the next hot thing coming? When that next hot thing is coming, what do they do? Like, yo, I like this kid. I like 21 Savage. I like Migos. I'm going to do a song with them, right? The reason why I'm going to do a song is because I want to make sure that the younger generation that's following them don't forget about me. Now, yes, yet again, this is a business-to-business transaction. It helps them out. It helps me out. There is nothing wrong with that. You get something, I get something, we move forward, I keep moving, you keep moving. Kudos when I see you to the top, handshake when I see you to the top.
And the culture wins.
And the culture wins. There's nothing wrong with that. What happens is when everybody is doing manipulative things behind the scenes where it's like, yo, I'm going to do this, but I'm only going to get this amount here to make sure that I move forward, and I'm really just going to leverage myself over this person, step on them, and then it's like, yo, when somebody does like, oh, they take advantage of this person, you hear those horror stories, right? And it's like, and like that's just because like everybody, there's a room for everybody to eat. Yeah. There's room for everybody to eat.
It should be that, but like in this lane of fashion, it doesn't persist.
Yeah, it doesn't. I see it a lot. All right. As someone deeply immersed in the world of fashion, how do you perceive the current state of the industry? What excites you the most about the future of fashion, and what concerns you? Break it up in pieces if you want.
Well, I'll touch the concerning part now. The concerning part is the loss of creativity.
Okay.
So it's like, I just really feel like we said earlier, like people just want to look outlandish. It's wow. It look crazy, but it's like, how sustainable is that?
Right.
It's my issue. And what are you spending to look like this? Is my issue as well. So it's like a lot of the stuff that you could wear and pour into like actual fashion, you don't have to do that.
Right.
It just look wow. And what was the first part?
The first part is how do you perceive the current state of the industry?
It's gonna get better when things kind of reallocate itself.
Right.
That's what I've been waiting for. It's like for it to just dumb down and just get to where it's gonna get to. You got good representation. Like I love what ASAP and Rihanna's doing. They doing non-traditional. Big Belly is always out, but they getting fleet. They getting to however they feel because they're staying within themselves.
I mean, but also too, like it's one, it's hard to get pregnant, and two, she's taking advantage of the fact that, you know, okay, I have this body and I can show you how sexy it is to look pregnant as well, and I don't have to hide this, you know. So it's definitely something that is commendable on her end to understand, like, hey, this is also a fashion statement as well. I can be a mom and still, you know, look this good. So,
but they're enjoying the moment.
Yeah.
But that's what I'm more like. Forget the whole parent thing. Like parenting is parenting, but like they're enjoying dressing up.
Yeah.
While being like parents. Like,
yeah.
You know how tough that is.
No, it is.
It's crazy out here, but like all right, like I got a couple like, you know what I mean, people that I view as and I rate. It's like up there. Like for some reason, Yachty, I hold Yachty in high regards. Like, I mean, he dresses how he wants to dress. It might be a little crazy, but he does what he does. Rocky is another one. I'm not too big on Trav. There's a couple here and there, but it's like the most influential is the ones that I stated.
And your OGs, who are your OGs?
You get the Nas's. Nas always a clean cut dude.
Yeah.
Jay dresses how he wants.
Yeah.
He's never been known as a dresser, but as he got older, his aesthetic is just clean.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that as well. I think it might stop there with my era of like
Pharrell, no?
Pharrell is always GOAT. Like He's always gonna do the next level. And his new release is crazy.
Yeah.
What he did with the damier print and made it like a digital camel was crazy.
Yeah.
Cause people like they didn't appreciate the damier because the damier print became like oversaturated. When you go to 125th and see the Africans selling it on Canal Street and they selling it, it's over.
Yeah.
But the way that he recreated it into a more modern aesthetic was dope. And I seen him they was giving him a little flack, like, oh, is he the best person that could have been? The thing is like he's influential. To be the top guy and be influential, you're bringing the crowd with you.
Yeah.
And being able to be playful in classical designs is an art form in itself.
Right.
Because they don't let you waver too far from what the classics are of the brand.
Right.
You are just brought in by the brand to make it to the next level. He did an amazing job.
No, that's dope. That's definitely dope.
And in Paris.
You still. Are there any specific projects or collaborations that have been particularly influential or meaningful to you throughout your career? If so, could you share some details about them?
It's never been nothing crazy so far. Like I've ghost designed for a lot of brands, but it's more me just that's like sparring. I get to spar with other brands because I might not have taken it that far, or the vision that was presented to me, I got to be playful with, that I might be, close off in my own brand with.
And that's acceptable in the industry, being like a ghost designer.
Yeah, it's like a ghostwriter in hip hop.
But
like,
that's not acceptable in the.
It is acceptable for the paycheck that the person's receiving. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, from the public standpoint, like.
Listen, Cardi B got ghost writers, and she top of the list.
I don't know nothing about that.
But more or less, it's more like me getting another opportunity to be creative and have an outlet without it actually being my brand.
Copy.
So it's like a sketchbook almost. So like I've played around with a couple brands. What I would like as far as like a joint collaboration with or somebody ambitious to work with, I would like to work with like a Soleil Bembry. I like what he's doing with the Crocs because he's bringing a whole nother feel to Crocs, and he's brought his lifestyle of hiking to New Balance. It's like, like live in my space.
Right.
So I would love to sit there and like pick brains with somebody like that and come up with like something in the median.
Yeah, I like his stuff. I like his stuff when he, even though I can't afford some of it, just
his price points isn't terrible.
It ain't terrible. It's just like my personal like, oh, do I want to spend that amount of money on that right now?
Yeah.
Eventually, I'll support and buy something with that. There was one pair of pants that I did see him drop that I wanted to get in this. I was just too late. Like once I got into the site.
Too late or too tall?
No, it was because it was.
I'm messing with you, bro.
It was what do you call those things?
Like track pants.
Yeah, where it has like the scrunchie at the bottom.
Yeah, I did.
I'm not good with naming what fat, so please people don't kill me. But yeah, with the scrunchy thing at the bottom, whatever like that. So I really I think they call it parachute pants.
Okay.
Yeah, I want a pair. I think it was like with kind of like it looked like a forest situation and whatever like that. I like that. So, cool. Could you share with us your favorite era of fashion and why it resonates with you? How does that particularly era?
Because I'm hype.
How does that particular era influence or inspire your design in the streetwear industry today?
I think from like probably like 03 to maybe like 2008, 2007 was probably the best era of hip hop to me. Like hip hop fashion to me.
Yeah.
Because I was big on Rich Young. I was big on like Awful Dot. Vinny's had all my money. I was going down there all the time, spending all my money in Vinny's. And the thing was like the business side of it, they were selling less shirts than the actual hype was.
Yeah.
But the fact that I was able to get a couple of them shirts, I knew I was the few in between that had certain pieces.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn tees, staple tees for New York City itself. You go anywhere, you had a Vinny's Brooklyn tee before they started bootlegging it and making Harlem tees and Queens tees and with the same scripture.
Yeah.
Like it was playful. It was it was associated with sneakers,
Right.
like where we really came from in that era, and it was like you had to be on the scene
Right.
during that time, like whether you be a Soho kid in like Bapester or like what was something else that was big back then? Supreme was getting this run at that point in time, but people wasn't really big on it yet. Kid Robot. It was like streetwear had its funnest moments during that time, and then you could still wear the South Beach LeBrons, the KD4s. So you playing with other sneakers other than just Jordan 1s.
Right.
Dunks and like you had a plethora of things to choose from. And if you wanted to do Pradas, Maury's was the big thing back then. Then you get Nike boots. You know, the list was crazy. Whether it be a Visa, whether it be Robbins, Rockin' Republics. We had so much stuff during that era.
Some people go crazy with the Air Maxes too.
Bruh. And that's when we said earlier, like regional fashion was crazy in New York at that time. Because people in Brooklyn wore Avrex. People in Harlem wore Pele Peles.
Yeah.
People in up in the Bronx wore Wazams or Mermocs.
Yeah.
People down here wore North Faces.
Yeah.
So like the aesthetics of the different regions and the different areas, whether it be 20 miles away, they dress totally different. Brooklyn, Queens was known for Timberlands. Harlem, we had Nike boots.
Yeah.
Uptown, they had what they had. I forgot what you call them. It was another thing up there. Whether it be Vasquez or A Solos was the thing at some point in time.
I know that Nelly made the Air Force Ones popular on a global scale, but in New York, right?
Those always was a thing.
But where in New York there was a was it Harlem? Was the white uptowns? Was it just New York in general?
I think it was New York in general. Me personally, I haven't bought a pair of Uptown since 2005, maybe.
Yeah, I've never.
Like you won't catch a picture with me with like in some Uptowns recently, unless like I remember they used to have the Invisible Woman's and the Hollands, the Pan Leather joints. Like those was like a moment because of Fab with the jerseys and all. Another staple in New York City when it came to like fashion. But me personally, that was always been a New York thing in general, like Uptowns.
Yeah.
He made it cool because it became a regional thing.
Yeah.
But besides Nelly and Rasheed Wallace.
I never personally bought myself a all white pair of Uptowns. I wear size 13, so it looks crazy on my feet, right? I mean, but
wow.
They might have gotten to my collection, maybe because like my wife or somebody like that. But I never bought me.
On your feet
all whites. Now I have like other Nikes that are considered Uptown, but they have like colors or whatever, you know. But yeah, that's I do have one question before I get into.
Hold on, not to go too far though. Aside from Nike though, Adidas had a crazy run at that time. During that era.
With what
they did have the Worcester Street location in Soho.
Okay.
Where you would see a lot of Jeremy Scotts.
Okay.
With the whether it be the joint with the leopard with the tail on it.
Yeah,
and
I remember seeing a couple.
You would see with the denim with the wings, like aside from just that era, Soho was a staple of New York.
Yeah.
Like you would get your fat, whether it be Y3. It was a lot of stores out there that groomed New York fashion in itself, and it was just in that region.
I remember people going crazy for the I think before the Supreme run situation happened with the store was the Bathing Ape situation, right? Where there used to be lines around that shit.
Apes was crazy too. Like it was just a lot going on in that region of New York, Soho itself.
Yeah.
Like Soho was just crazy. I just wanted to make sure that I got that clear.
No, that's good. I'm gonna bring this up. You don't gotta go crazy on him, but I do know that there was a point where you kind of, I assume that you kind of gave him a little bit of credit or respect. Kanye, his fashion mindset. What favorite era of the Kanye fashion situation did you respect, and where did you lose respect?
I think, let me not be disrespectful, but Kanye, like, he made Jordan 6s look like the most amazing shoe at some point in time. Because he wore it with tees, whether he wore it with blazers. Like, you were known, like, he was going to bring some between the 6s and the 3s.
Yeah.
Like, it was kind of like he was bringing grown aesthetics with sneakers.
Yeah.
We didn't see that yet. Like Jay-Z did the button-ups, but everybody button-up was baggy and crazy.
Yeah.
But Kanye brought the slim, tailored aesthetic with sneakers. We've always wanted to wear that.
Right.
I'm West Indian.
Yeah.
So it's like when your mother told you to go to church, and you have to button up your shirt, and have to tuck your shirt in your pants and wear a hard bottom. She's like, yo, I will wear anything but hard bottoms. So you wear everything she put on you. If she wore some sneakers, you was good with everything.
Yeah.
Kanye brought that into fruition. Like, he made it cool to be an adult and still tap into your youthful side. So it was dope. Like, that era was crazy. The best era of Kanye might have been,
for you, this is it for him.
For me, maybe the Louis Vuitton Don.
Yeah.
Like, he was wearing the millionaire shades, and he was really putting on, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, he kind of went left with a lot of stuff, but he's really a creative. So I can't shit on him per se, but I know his mind works different.
Yeah. I mean, I don't really necessarily call it shit, like, but at the end of the day, like, if you're a person, it's one thing I would say as being a creative myself, right? From building brands and working in places where I'm creating brands and stuff like that, it is good to have people around you who are going to call out when you're going too crazy, or when your shit is just, your creative mind is just going off the rails, because you do need to sometimes be pulled back. Some things are just too outlandish.
There's no pulling back for creativity. There's no creativity pullback. It's just that, are you on the same wavelength as me at this point in time?
You think if somebody decided to make clothing out of a garbage bag to wear, that's not going crazy? I'm not saying he did. I'm just saying in general. Like, you think that's going crazy? You like that's what I mean. Like, when your creativity is going to another level where you might be thinking that, you know what, I'm this nice, I could take this so simplistic thing and try to make it into something, when it's like, nah, bro, you're kind of reaching. Like, we was good at this step. You had it at this step.
I can't personally say that because we've seen him make it work.
What might work for him might not work for the masses.
But he is the cultivator and the creator of all of this.
Okay, I get that. I get that. I do get that. I do get that you need to have room to be creative. You need the mindset to be creative. But I would say that there is something where it's like, you do need to have those people around, like, yo, that was trash. You do.
Yeah, okay.
You do. It's just like if
a reality check.
Yeah, listen. If let's look a basketball perspective, right? Mm-hmm. If you nice, and I know you got a jump shot, and I know you get the jump shot, but then you take 3 of them shits and your form and everything is off, I should be like, yo, that was trash, bro. Yeah. Like, what was that? Why didn't you know better than that? I know you know your form. Like, why you know what I mean? Like, I shouldn't, just because you know how to do it doesn't mean I cannot not correct you. You know what I mean? Like, it's the balance of that.
But that takes an effect of who he has around as well.
Yeah,
to like rebalance him into the creative space he should be in, or what's beneficial to what we need.
Right.
So Kanye's Kanye though, but he gonna always be Kanye. So.
Yeah. I just wanted to make sure and throw him in, because at the end of the day,
I just be respectful of Kanye.
I think that's one of the things. I think everybody wants to have an opinion on him, but at the end of the day, the one thing that's fact. From anybody from the age of like anybody born in from 82 to 2000, that man in some shape or form, that man had an effect on how you moved in society, regardless of how you like it or not. It could have been the music that got you somewhere. It could have been what he introduced to the fashion world. It could have been the way that he presents himself to the world and how he didn't take shit from people. regardless of how you feel about it, at the end of the day, he made a staple where he's carved into what the world is and how things move in the world. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying that for everybody, because I'm pretty sure there's people in the world. There's a famous video around where I think Jay-Z and Beyonce is walking, I think somewhere in Paris or somewhere like that, and there are people taking pictures, and the guy's like, "Who's this?" And Jay-Z's like, "Well, who's you?" Because everybody ain't gonna know you, because some people just tapped out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, for what we've done and what we've grown up in, I definitely know that at some point he has had a staple in people's shaping people's lives who grew up around the same age as us or whatever like that. You know, so shout out to him, and you know, hopefully everything is, you know, working out for what he's trying to get done.
Get better, yay.
Yeah. All right. So bonus question I got for you, right? And I always put this here because I think it's always best to pay things forward and obviously make sure we're sharing information and being a light to the people that's looking to get out the dark place. What advice would you give to an inspiring fashion designer looking to enter the streetwear industry? Are there any important lessons or principles you have learned that you'd like to share?
I seen something interesting on Instagram the other day. Not even taking away from that question. What would I tell my younger self?
Okay.
Let's add it at that. What I would tell my younger self as a designer at this point in time, before you're ready to release your brand, crazy. Know your direction, know your audience, and know where you want to be projected in the next 5 to 6.
North Star.
Yeah, because it's like you might be designing now in today's space, but I've been around a lot of designers that came up with me, started with me, and they're not around anymore for whatever reason. Like the money aspect, whether they couldn't keep it running, whether they lost passion for it. I would ask myself today, younger, why are you going to do this? Why are you going to take this journey? And how much are you willing to sacrifice?
Right.
Because it's not fun.
Right.
Sometimes it's not fun. But at some point it's very fulfilling, because you see, it's like art. You see your art, and humans are the canvas.
Right.
Sometimes I don't even say anything to people when I see them walking past in my art.
Yeah.
Quote unquote. How far are you willing to bend with that? Because there's highs, crazy highs. There's 106 in Park, and there's no sales.
Yeah.
There's COVID, where everything is shut down, where nobody don't need no clothes.
Yeah.
And then there's where you been. I need clothes.
Right.
So it's like, how far are you willing to accept it, and where do you want to go with it?
Right.
So that's probably where I would go with it. Like, you know, self and others. Just have a conversation with yourself.
No, I think that's the right way to look at it. Making sure that, you know, you have a North Star, you know exactly. I think sometimes people have a hard time with dreaming big. I realize adults is something that I'm working on to try to help people understand that a lot of adults they forget how to dream, right? You have a dream when you're younger, life hits you, things happen, and then it's kind of like you forget how to dream. And I always say that, you know, you should always pay attention to what you're doing at that very moment, and seeing if that you're off the track for your dreams. And then see, like, during your life process, if there's any room, hours, time that you can get yourself back to your dream. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if at one point you wanted to be a ballet dancer, and the reason why you couldn't be the ballet dancer is because at the time when you were a kid or whatever like that, mom and dad didn't have the resources to put you there. But now that you're the adult, you have the resources, you've worked. Maybe revisit trying to get yourself back in that ballet class. Maybe revisit trying to do these certain things, whatever, because now you're the adult controlling your life. You can possibly go for your dream, right? I think people don't give enough respect to time and life and how long life could be if you're doing the right things to live. And then they keep attacking your dreams. You know what I mean? And that's one thing that I commend you. I tell you all the time, I'm like, yo, when you're working on a project, when you're you know, you told me you was working on your book, because you were working on you was 10 years in the game, and you want to put something together to show like your timeline. I was like, yo, that's nothing small to like look down on. I'm like, yo, like you said in the very beginning, you had no experience. There was no older person. There was no nothing. It was like, yo, this is what I want to do. I don't care how I get there. I'm gonna run through this door. I'm gonna run through this wall, and I'm gonna figure it out. And whatever bumps and bruises I got with it, I would have my battle scars, right? So the fact that you were willing to do that, I tell you all the time, I'm like, yo, that's commendable, bro. Like, it takes a lot for somebody to like push out everything from the side and get that going. So I definitely want to make sure we get that on wax and let you know, like, yo, what you're doing is commendable. Keep pushing, keep doing what you're doing. Don't ever stop. And then make sure that, you know, like, you keep paving it forward to other people. You know what I mean? And I commend you, brother.
Appreciate you, man.
Nah, of course, I got you. What's that?
Swag.